Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Culinary Battle. Enjoy this. Siva, gengerewa, siva, gengerewa. Listen. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am joking, baby, yeah. I want you back. I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am joking, baby, yeah. I want you back. Culinary battle, it's not an easy battle. Mitch, let's say, Ebiane home tokwa, enye ahogono so. Culinary battle, it's not an easy battle. Mitch, let's say, Ebiane home tokwa, enye bete. Baby, come back now. Before I burn your kitchen, baby, come back now. Before I blow your kitchen, come back now. Before I burn your kitchen, baby, come back now. Before I blow your kitchen, I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am joking, baby, yeah. I want you back. I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am losing, baby, yeah. I want you back. We're trying to make a statement that we think that the Ghanaian past, there are a lot of good things in the Ghanaian past which we are putting aside, which we are neglecting, and if we are not careful, we'll lose some of these things. There's a special music tradition called Adaha. There is another one called Konkoma. There's another one called Osibi. Who is a Fanti here? Do we have any Fanti? Fanti. Okay, Fanti. Have you ever heard anything Osibi? But Osibi is Fanti music. It's actually Fanti recreational music. It usually happens at the seaside, and then it is part of our music tradition. But we are losing touch of all these things. So we decided that let's at least pick some of these things we are losing and try to revive them. Let's try to create awareness. Let people be aware that these things are part of our culture. They are part of us as Ghanaians. They are part of our identity before we lose them. We have already lost a number of them. And so we decided at the time we started, Ejakonimo and his band, Adademagofuma, and then the Legon Palm Wine Band. They were the two main groups that were performing palm wine music. Now, Legon Palm Wine Band, at the time, they were more like students at the University of Ghana, the music department. And so, of course, because they are students, they will be, to a great extent, restricted in terms of performances, in terms of pushing the agenda and all that. Of course, now that it's a group on its own, and so now they are really also very vibrant in palm wine music. Ejako Onimo is 80, in his mid-80s, and so he's not too active in performances. So we decided that let's pick palm wine music and try to join in its renaissance. Let's just keep it. Let's join in the continuity of this music tradition so we don't lose it. So we picked palm wine music to carry it on. We also have decided that apart from music, something like storytelling, we want to be a part of bringing it back actively, because we realize that, I don't know, those of us here, I'm not too sure the last time you told your nephew, your son, your daughter an ancestor, or when your mom, your dad, your auntie, your grandmother told you an ancestor. I don't remember. But I think some of these things are imbued with great stuff, great values. So we will eventually do some of these things also. So KwanPa, we are just going back to bring some of the good things in our past and showcase them to create the awareness. That's why we chose palm wine music, just to keep this going so we don't lose it. Aye, Adampo, Himio, Enko, Messi, Devo, say, Wawa, Ewarabo, Jamaica, Mammy, come for them. Go down, Dampo, Himio, Aye, Adampo, every year, KwanPa, Enko, Messi, Devo, say, Wawa. Ewarabo, Jamaica, Mammy, come for them. Me go down, Dampo, Himio, Aye, Adampo, Himio.
This modern political climate, what is it that you guys think you can do to change that perception around sex and gender roles and social conventions in that regard? Yeah, that's my question.
In fact, the second time we performed this song at the Zen Garden, where we perform every Tuesday, somebody raised that concern that we are trying to be a bit, we are overgeneralizing and we are stereotyping. It is true. Some of these things we may not be able to take them out totally from our music, but we can work on some of these things. If you look at lyrics, it is very, very, very important when it comes to palm wine music. It is extremely important. For instance, the very first song we did, the very first one we did, we said in the verse, we said something like, Menam Juma se, Juma eyi baya bome, asase ajemetata. Do you know what that means? Anybody? Any idea? Me kwa minam jumase, me ba minam jumase, jume ibaya bome asasi ajemetata. That is tree. All right, let me explain this to you. So this talks about the vulnerability of man. Juma ibaya abome. It's a tree, and then one of the branches fell on me. I walked past the tree and I went. And when I was coming, I walked under the branch or the branches of the tree. So when I was walking, the branches were there, nothing happened. When I was coming, one of the branches fell on me. And asasia jemetata, the earth has welcomed me. In other words, I'm gone. So it's talking about the vulnerability of man. Anything could happen at any time. It means the onus lies on us as musicians to pay particular attention to lyrics and presentation of the lyrics. With what you said, we may communicating, this is communication, encoding, decoding. In the process of the whole encoding, pushing it, decoding, the noise, the feedback, and the noise and all that, a lot of things would happen. So it means, for me, what I gather from all this is that we must pay particular attention to the lyrics from our music. And so we will usually, just as I said earlier, we have a lot of themes, from very light themes to play, to very serious themes in our compositions. And that is what we must really take serious.
What's the relevance between the music and social commentary? So on the one hand, the music is born out of situations.
Yes.
But long term, is it about social commentary? So that years later I look back at your music and you were commenting on something at a particular time. One question. Okay. Second question, you said the drum came from the Caribbean.
Yes.
I'd be really interested in finding out what that history is. My family from Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I know the Presbyterian Church
yes.
was developed by Jamaicans in Mbari.
Okay.
There's a long history of Jamaicans in Mbari. So I'm interested, please.
Yes. So with your second question first, Professor John Collins has a book he has titled Highlife and 3. And in his book, he makes reference to the fact that you can actually trace this drum through Sierra Leone to the Caribbean. And in all these places, the name remains the same. As in, sometimes it's just a letter added, like we call it Gome, others will call it Gumbe. But it's basically the same thing, or a similar frame drum. It may be smaller or bigger or shorter in a way, but it's still the same thing. So I'm sure in his book he can, like, he has explained some of these things further. But from that book, Highlife and 3 by Professor John Collins, he states it emphatically that you can trace it through Sierra Leone to the Caribbean, this drum. And it's the spelling will now differ. We say gome, G-O-M-E, but same drum, G-U-M-E, G-U-M-B-E-Y. Gumbe, gume, gome, referring to the same drum in different parts of Africa to the Caribbean. Yes. So, I mean, once you get that book, you can, yeah. And then with the social, yes, the commenting on social issues at the time, so that in the future you look back and you realize that, yes, this happened, that happened. For instance, when you look at E.T. Mensah, E.T. Mensah did a lot of that, especially around Ghana's independence, Ghana's freedom and all that. So even if you didn't, for instance, he has a song titled Ghana, Guinea, Mali. And that is by E.T. Mensah at the time, exactly. And you may never have known anything about Ghana, Guinea, Mali, but once you listen to his music, at least you have an idea. He says the nucleus of our whatever and all that. So it tells a lot about our relationship at the time. For instance, E.T. Mensah talks about freedom. He has a song titled Freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Ghana, we now have freedom, and all that. So yes, palm wine music similarly, yes. But I think it works both ways. For us as a band, we comment on these issues in our music, and then we also do music which may cut across. We decided that we will make people love it. Whether you like it or not, we'll make you love it. And this is what we'll do. We will take the music you love already, and then we'll put that on our palm wine rhythm and give that back to you. So as you enjoy your music, you still enjoy our music. And then we later on give you what we want to give you. And that is why we'll select your popular musicians, songs from your popular musicians, those you love. And then we will do the songs on palm wine rhythms and still do them for you. So I'm specially dedicating this song to all the ladies in the house. Don't worry, gentlemen, you get yours. They say ladies first, right? Enjoy this. If you know the song, let's do it together. 1, 2. I stop police for your case, oh. I go to war for your case, oh. I go to court for your case, oh. I climb a bridge for your case, oh. I punch a judge for your case, oh. Enter water for your case, oh. I punch a judge for your case, oh. Anything you want, baby, for your case, you. Le, 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 le. For your case, you. For your case, you. Le, 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 le. For your case, you. 'Cause my papa don't be down, go day. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. Oh, my papa don't be down, go day. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. I go shoot for your case. I go slap a hero for your case. I go call MC to the woman. I go report all of them. I go shoot for your case. I go slap a hero for your case. I go call MC to the woman. I go report all of them. For your case, you. For your case, you. For your case, you. For your case, you. 'Cause my papa don't be down, go day. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. 'Cause my papa don't be down, go day. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. We try to make our performances very interactive so that we want you to feel KwanPa performing. So most of the time in our performances, we have a number of places we perform during the week and then the weekends also. In our performances, we make sure we celebrate people. We do songs for people deliberately. We get the names of people. We do songs for you. We make you feel like, yeah, you are part of the thing, so that when you go, you feel you feel it, and you say, oh yeah, they did a song for me. Oh, at least, oh, let me hear what they have to say. Wednesday, oh, we are on Wednesday. go to Asari. Obiara on Wednesday, I go to Asari. Obiara on Friday, I go to Asari. Obiara on Friday, I go to Asari. La 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 la. Friday, do your dance, do your dance, do your dance, do your dance, do your dance. Shake it, give again, ease again, give again, ease again. Hey. We are going to do this together. Watch them. We are going to do a few of the songs they know. Okay, Tiwi. Listen to this. Singiriba, Aba, Singiriba. Seniwa de dende, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa pete pete, Seniwa de dende, pete pete, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa enafirewo, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa osemi meyende, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa osemi medidi, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa. Do your dance, do your dance. Ever. Say what day, say what day. Say what ever. Say what day, say what day. Say what day. Every year, ever. Say what day, say what day. Say what day. The coast, there was a kind of music called Osibi Saba music, which emanated from the coast, and then it was basically recreational music. It's from the Osibi music and dance, which is actually is basically wrestling, but of course recreation. So you wrestle, and then in the course of if anybody has ever watched this movie, Love Brewed in the African Pot, you will see a set of Osibi in that movie when they were doing that recreation, that music and dance at the seaside. That's so that is where I will say it started with the introduction of the guitar and all that, and then later on it percolated hinterlands towards the Ashanti and all that going inwards. But the Ashantis were already doing something we call Odonson, Akam Blues. And so the Odonson meeting the Osibisa and all that, they all contributed to that. So I would say if you look at the whole thing, palm wine music, the coast had an influence, a strong influence on palm wine music, and then it moved hinterlands. And then the same Osibi Saba music turning into meeting Odonson and all that. The Konkoma music, it was when percussions, a lot of percussions were added to these styles. If you really trace it, you realize that even Bobobo from the Volta region is actually Konkoma, which also has a relation to Adaha music and Osibi Saba music. So all these traditions in a way have a relation. Yes, so that is what I would say about its movement and all that. I think the coast had a lot of influence on that, and then it moved hinterlands. Yeah. Yeah.
I love what you said about preserving the heritage in regards to the music. I was just wondering, would you, in preserving the heritage, consider offering workshops for children to continue the legacy that you started?
Yes, we get it a lot. I think it's something we should consider because it has come up a number of times. People have actually asked us. Well, I remember we did a performance for National Commission on NCC. Which one is that? Thank you. We did a performance for them, and then the commissioner was like, "Oh, can we train some children or some people or have some workshops or conferences for people?" So I think it has come up once too many times, and so it's something I think we should consider. We will do that because it's part of us, even if it means having groups of like this at the lower level to kind of just experiment with this kind of music. I think it will work out well. So yes, it's good. We'll consider that.
Our cultural music is very specific. I know that there's some music that women can't play, there's some instruments women can't play. Are women generally allowed to do palm wine music, and do we have any, if you know of?
Women, I think, are allowed to do palm wine music. The only thing is that, you know, in the Ashanti culture, a lot of the ladies will rather prefer to do enyom kro other than any of these. And then there's another one, the one they play with the god. I just forgot the name, but there's another one which actually is for females. That one is for the females. But in my opinion, I think we all ladies can do that. As a matter of fact, I have had a few calls from some ladies who expressed interest in. They were saying that they also want to form an all-female palm wine band, which I think will not be bad, right? So we are still talking with them to see how we can make things work. But they also want to try an all-female band to do palm wine music, which I think will really be good. So we will urge them on. And fortunately for us too, as we started our palm wine music, we are in the 4th year, but we've had at least about 80 people who have sent messages or called and expressed interest in joining our band. They want to join the band. So we are still thinking that we may have an audition later and put some of these people who are really interested, put them together and form other palm wine bands and try to help them also and groom them and do performances. Because sometimes we get invitations to perform, and sometimes 2-3 invitations same day. We are not able to honor every one of them. So if we had other palm wine bands, a lot of them, they could also honor some of these gigs. So yes, all female, we'll try that and see. We hope that in the next few years we will still draw the attention we are looking at, and it will not just be performances and all that, but we are looking at KwanPa being an institution, a reference when it comes to reviving or the renaissance of this palm wine music tradition. We will also be mentioned in there. So it has been good. Thank you so much. Fast track hot. Check service now, people Snapchat cross. 31st, so we'll change. But if you want me, I'm on the 10. Now I'm telling you for track. Part-time Christian, you won't find food time here.
Hello family, Gabriel from LOATAD Highlife. Thank you for taking time to engage with the content just now. If you want to continue to help us preserve and retell Highlife music and its legacy, you already know what you need to do. Please like, share and engage. You can also go a step further in helping us preserve our history and these stories by clicking on the Ko-fi link below on your screen, or make a one-off donation to join our LOATAD Highlife exclusive membership. Once again, we appreciate your support. Peace and love.